Architect Ezekiel Nya-Etok here, who is the Executive Director of the Federal Housing Authority. He's also spoken on several public issues. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, and what a privilege for having me.
You're always welcome.
Nice to hear. Thank you.
I think I'll just kick off from the last thing that Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Dagba Kionshu, said, where he said that he fears that the escalation could be because the organizers of the protests were not organized enough. Is that something you agree to?
One, two, three things. I think it's important I lay certain disclosures. First is that I'm a public servant, and it's important for that to be known. Second is that I come here not to speak for government, so to speak. I come here as a responsible citizen. To that end, I fear that I could stand certain risks, but life is about the 3 C's, the chances that come your way, the choices that you make, and the consequences of your choices. And for me, I'm willing for whatever consequence, but the time has come when people that mean well for this country must stand up and speak. And let that be more important to you than your office and protecting your office. So I took the risk of doing what I'm doing. The first thing is that I believe that it is right for people to protest. I believe it. I think it's a fundamental right of people. The second thing is that for whatever you do, you must think of the essence. Why am I doing this? What do I want to achieve? When you answer those 2 questions, it makes you to now have a game plan as to what you want to do. A protest could either be a sponsored stuff to hit the government in power, or it could be a natural cry of the citizens that things are bad. So whether you're in government, you're out of government, you all go to the same market, things are not okay. I personally feel that things are not okay. And incidentally, I've never one day heard Mr. President saying it's all rosy and dandy. I think I've heard him say that things are difficult, okay? So within that context, for us to have a 10-day protest, there are 2 extreme ends of every protest. One end is what happened at NSAS. I flew into Lagos and I went to Alausa. I spent some time and I came up with the fact that there's hope for Nigeria, because I saw young people organized, they were articulate, they shared food. When they finished, they cleaned up the place. I was elated. I felt good. On the other extreme of the protest, what happened at NSAS, which is a hijack of miscreants and people who started looting the shops of people. And let me just end on a little story. One of my friends came to me, and for once in a long time, I actually shed tears. His uncle had gone and borrowed money from a bank, did a good business plan, brought in stuff, and that day they looted that stuff, and he secured the money with his only family house. That man died not long after because of what happened. That's what an extreme end of protest could be. So you want to isolate that extreme end. You want to magnify the end of what happened at NSAS, at the toll gate, and as a result, you come up with something that makes sense. Within that context, I believe that if they had this sort of game plan, 10 days, like the prof said, 10 days is not too much if it's organized, because I would agree 10 days. First 2 days, I say it loud. Say it loud. Catch attention. And that was very successfully done on one side. Next 2 days, you go in and articulate and organize. That means Saturday, Sunday, you go back home, articulate, no protest, you organize. It's still part of the game plan. Then the next 4 days, you now hold town hall meetings and citizen engagement meetings, because the game plan that you've brought as your demands came from who? I want to know, like a constitution, that it came from the office of the citizen. So the next 4 days, you hold all manner of town hall meetings, citizens engagement at all levels, right down to the grassroots. Then at day 8, you now have a kind of activation of the office of the citizen, and be able to articulate what you may call a communique, a final agreement, and on day 10, you now engage government. When government sees that plan, I foresee a situation where the president himself would like to be in that hall. I mean, the Senate president would like to be in that hall. Senior citizens will be in that hall. And you present what the young people of Nigerians are saying to government. If we do this, I think that even the president will thank the young people, and we would have started a process that will activate the office of the citizen, that will put the feet to the fire of every government official.
What's the difference between this and NSAS, and how were we able to handle this massive number of hoodlums?
Okay.
Because, you know, what usually happens is the people say, oh, no. Yeah. You cannot be calling protesters hoodlums.
Yeah.
But there are genuine protesters, and then there are miscreants.
Yeah.
The handling of miscreants overrunning a legitimate peaceful protest is one that I haven't been able to get an answer to when it comes to security agencies between NSAS and today. What do you make of that?
I'll tell you this. I like to be as realistic as possible. The Nigerian army, the Nigerian police, all the military and the paramilitary put together cannot effectively police 774 local governments. They can't. As a result, you need to try not to create a situation where the miscreants will take advantage of. You see, these people that we call miscreants, at the risk of being misunderstood, when you sit down and look at a young man who finished school for 3 years, he has no food, he has no job. You look at the young people on the streets, things are hard. Everybody wants to survive. So they are looking for an opening. Can you create an opening? As these people are planning protests, they are planning the shops.
I mean, we do have the spokesperson of the police with us right now. Mr. Muyiwa Adejobi is joining us via Zoom. Good evening, sir.
So let's turn our attention now to Architect Ezekiel Nya-Etok. You've just listened to the Chief of Defense Staff. Before that, you listened to the police talking about professionalism. So in all this, I don't know if you agree with the security agencies that they've been professional enough.
Okay, you know, at a time like this, it took very serious thought for me to accept to be here. Because when you come here and you are a public office holder, there are certain things they expect you to say. But I think, like I said in my opening remarks, the time has come when we must go beyond our comfort zones and talk as Nigerians, which is first what we are. I'm first a Nigerian. My loyalty is first to Nigeria. And then my next loyalty is the man who believed in me and pointed me into the office. I have a real serious concern with our understanding of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence lets you know what to say and how to say it per time. I actually had expected the police officer to be a little, to appear. You see, the police is supposed to be the friend of the people. And at a time like this, Nigeria is hurting. Nigerians are hurting. So if you are addressing Nigerians, there should be a certain level of sobriety and not, rocking on your chair as you bring it on, we can give it to you. I don't think that's the wisest approach to it. It's got to be, you know, you have the right to do it, and it is our place to make sure that you are really protected. But let me say it for whatever it's worth. We're not going to fold our arms and let innocent people, you know, in a thing like this, there are two things that you do. The first is you try to kind of decipher the different groups. And there are three different groups, in my opinion. There's the politicians that would like to make this government look bad for their own political gains, and they could sponsor and do anything. They are one group. There are the people you call the looters, the miscreants. Even that name, it's because we really can't understand what they are going through. What they do is wrong. But they are moved by certain things: hunger, deprivation, frustration. You can see a man or a boy who means well, who is like, look, if I can just enter this shop, I feel collect that Gary where they're there. Do you understand me? He wouldn't want to do it under normal circumstances. One will not justify that action, but you can understand where he's coming from. And then there is the real, honest, sincere, concerned Nigerian youth who is saying, I want to have a good country that works for me. So these three groups of people are working. The first thing government will do is to identify the honest people and engage with them, identify with them, sympathize with them.
If you don't mind, I'll just come in here because the initial question was the reaction to what the CDS said.
I came to that, and that is that.
We need to throw to all the guests.
I have a concern with the concept of emotional intelligence. The things he said, I would say that to a great extent, they've acted professionally. To a very great extent. I've watched the goings on, and in most places, we haven't seen this, like trigger-happy people who are, no, you haven't seen it. But I'm saying that we should go beyond the facts. At a time like this, people are not looking at facts and figures. They are looking at sentiment, emotions. That's why the emotional intelligence aspect is very important in communicating, so that people can feel that you can feel them. And at the time, we need the Nigerians to feel that we can feel them.
This is something that we've heard a lot. I even heard the Minister of State for Agriculture say this, about the fact that we have cartels everywhere. Even if we start to pay subsidies, and he just mentioned it right now, even if we resume subsidies on everything, the chances that prices are going to go down are very slim. Is this a fact? Are we? Because I've heard, at least I've heard my mother say it before. Terry, when our parents used to say, nothing goes down. The price of nothing's price goes down in Nigeria. Is that what we're dealing with right now? And how do you manage that when we're looking at what these protesters are asking for?
Okay. You see, this is my first time of getting into government. All my life, I've always rejected, turned down anything about appointment. So I've been on the other side of the divide all my life. And coming in here, I want to situate the first blame on us public office holders, because we cross the line and we forget too soon where we came from. Forget about those who are professional government people. There are people who have been there all their lives. I don't envy them. But there are some of us that have been out there and then we've come in here. The very first thing I would say is that the communication between government and the people has been very poor. And the means of communication has been worse. As a result, people don't really know that government has 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. They don't know that. They believe that government has over 50 loaves of bread.
It's more because so the when person you in see, government looks like he has 50 loaves of bread. More so, yes. He's buying SUVs for his child. He's living lavishly.
I agree. More so when we see how some of them are living. So I think that Mr. President needs to look hard at his people who are giving him a bad name. You understand me? I say that because I'm in the Federal Housing Authority. And by the time the youth know the exact, first is that as far as they are concerned, FHA is nothing, because over the past 50 years, they've only done 50,000 housing units. In the past 10 years, they can't remember which new estates they have done. So as far as they are concerned, these are sort of people who have just come in, they are going to take their own, and nothing is going to come to us. You understand me? And yet, they'll be shocked to know that none of us, from the MD to the EDs, is driving any new car. We're all driving the old Project Hilux that we met. Because when we came in here, I believe the president did that to all others. He pulled our ears and said, Nigerian, especially the youth, he said that specifically, especially the youth, the first-time homeowner and then the young people, they need to have houses. You must give them houses. So he put us on our toes. And I believe he did that. I want to believe he did that to others. As a result, we came in from February. None of us has any new car. Secondly, by now we have gone to 26 states by road with those old cars. We've been able to meet governments, sit down 2 hours, 3 hours with each of the governors, worked out and gotten prime lands. Look, we have a man who, I don't know how he survives, but the MD CEO, you know, Honorable Oyetunde Ojo, I challenge any Nigerian to go to FHA by 8 o'clock if he will not meet myself and himself and the other EDs in office. And I challenge them to come back by 7:30 if he will not meet us still in the office. Right. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Nigerians need to hear some of these things, but the communications have not been there.
Okay.
They need to know that within this month of August, they are going to have a portal for first home owners in 26 states. We have the land, we have the funds, we have the designs, and we're going to activate that. So when the protesters know that the young people from September can start to see houses built that targets them primarily, they'll say, okay,
how many houses did you say?
No, we have up to 100 hectares. Do you understand?
How many houses are you?
No, we can have up to 10 or 5,000 houses.
How many are you hoping to accommodate?
No, it's going to be based on need. Need means when we open the portal, register, and we build to need, not speculative, not political, because we're all professionals. Nigerians have known me as somebody in housing, so I'm not going to do something that is not professional. So as soon as we open the portals, we have the land, we have the money, so we are going to build to need.
For what class of Nigerians?
Exactly. We are targeting first time. The president said first time home owners, and so we're going to do studios.
Well, you know, I know you're just giving preliminary information,
yes.
But I think anybody listening to you will be worried as to this is one of those schemes that, you know.
No. I'll tell you something. I can tell you that in channels, people know that Nya-Etok does not play. That's why I could come here and say,
well, it's not your money. It's not your policy.
The money is there. The land is there. The people are there. So what we've been doing from February, we got the land, we went into strategic designing and engagement. So as from September, we're going to start groundbreaking strategically, and we open a portal, and based on the need pattern per state. So what we'll do is that every state should make sure that their people get to register on that portal. FHA renewed home, you know, we're going to give that. They make sure, because we're not going to build 10,000 housing or 1,000 houses when there are just 500 people. Do you understand me? But skepticism has been the problem of Nigerians. Oh, that's how they talk. And then you discover that people are going to apply, and then we're going to take them and build the house, and you're like, oh. So my advice is, if you know you've believed me over the years, and I'm not a politician, I don't talk politics, I'm a professional hardcore, my advice is, especially the young people, go and register. We'll do the profiling, and we want to make sure the land is there. The president has released 2 trillion. Do you understand me? 2 trillion? Yes, 2 trillion for infrastructure and housing. And in housing, he has said Federal Mortgage Bank and Federal Housing Authority. So we have the land. The governors have given us, in Kaduna State, they gave us 150 hectares. In Jos, at Rayfield, so we're getting prime land. At Jos, they gave us 100 hectares.
Okay, but if you're building houses at Rayfield,
yes.
If you're building houses at Rayfield, people that live in Sabo,
yes.
Would they be able to live in those houses?
Affordable houses for Nigerians. Starting with the low-income earners.
Will this be on needs basis, like you said?
Exactly.
So, for example, it's the kind of house I want to build that you will build, or
no. When you want to start to determine the kind of house I want, you don't need a house. But when you say, I have a 1-bedroom, and you're asking me, does it have 3
So are you building 1 bedroom?
We are building studios, we are building 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms primarily. Then, of course, other Nigerians are entitled to, we are going to now build 3 bedrooms. Then there's what we call diaspora city. And in our diaspora, we believe that a man who's been in Abuja all along is a diaspora, local diaspora, and is in Akwa Ibom. So he would want to have a house in Akwa Ibom. Do you understand me? So we're having that as a package. It's very well articulated.
It's affordable housing.
Affordable. That's the first thing. As a result,
what are we talking about? What's the price range?
I'll tell you that. Mr. President said to make it affordable, forget about tiles for the people. Forget about all these fancy things. You understand me?
Tiles are fancy.
Yes. Let's be realistic. When you get into your house, you can take your time and put some of those things.
Put carpets.
Why do I want to put tiles for you and then add, the cost of finishings of tiles and POP and everything? They are the things that make the house of 5 million to go to 10 million.
So you were talking about a range.
Yes.
What price range are we looking at?
We are targeting from 5 million. That's what we're targeting. And when we did a kind of affordability profiling stuff, and we discovered that a man on minimum wage today, given a 25-year-old mortgage, long mortgage, which the president has provided, can afford a house of 4.5 million.
Do you understand? A man within what age range?
No, if you are, we are, maybe because of my position and the president's disposition and my MDCO, we have a lot of what they call it. We have a lot of concern for the young people. We have a lot of concern for the young people.
Strictly for the youths.
Any man, no, not strictly for them, but I can tell you that 60-70% we're going to target the young people. So any man that is below 35 has at least 25 years, you know, where he's eligible
as long as he can afford, he's being paid at least minimum wage.
Yes, he's being paid at least minimum wage. So this is what Nigerians don't know. And people are going to like, wow, is that possible? And when they see that we have already gotten the land.
So let me ask you, how will this work in states where the minimum wage will not be paid?
I'll tell you how it is. You know, the best way to eat an elephant is to take one bite at a time. What we're doing, we're opening up a portal. And in all those portals, people are applying. And we are doing, you know, the portal is very sophisticated. FHA is fully digitalized. So it will do a profiling of affordability. So we'll be able to know how many people can afford a house of 4.5 million, how many can afford a house of 5.5 million, 8 million, 10 million. On the basis of that, we'll now build to need, even if it's in phases. If we are not afraid to go on 100, 200, 300. As the needs come, the land is already there, the money is already there. Do you understand? So we're not looking for money, we're not looking for land. Technology is to a penny in Nigeria.
So those applying will part with nothing?
Yes, no.
Initial payments, no initial payment?
No, we are working such that we can pay from your salary. You don't need to make those. The president is, that's why sometimes when they talk about president, I feel sorry for him sometimes because some of these things that he's made available, people don't know. So they're like, what is he doing? He's not doing anything. And the young people are incensed. But when they know that there is a chance they could own a house, and let me leak a secret. When I give you this house, it's not compulsory that you must be the one living in that house. Imagine a young person having a house in Redfield. Very likely he will put a tenant. And the money he will get, even without working, the rent he will get from it can pay the mortgage and then give him some leverage to take some other things. That's why we want to give those houses in prime areas so that they serve as a financial empowerment instrument. The president has really hounded is not a good word, really breathed down our throat to make sure this is done. And if he does that to FHA, I believe he's doing that to other places.
So this commences in September, you said?
Oh, yes.
Has registration
The registration starts, and we already have the land. We're not looking for. Cross River has given us 2 lands.
Okay, so that's another thing. The states that have given lands.
26 of them
26
so far.
states. And this is supposed to be in all the states.
Yes. The others, they've sent for us, but we've not been able to go because you need to go and need to also work. And when we go with a full team. And we go by road with the old hillocks that we met. Nigerians need to know that there are people who are serious about business. The MD, I'm sorry to say, is a relation of Mr. President, and yet he goes everywhere by road and he stays in the office morning till night. There are people who are serious to make a change in this country. And I believe that FHA is not the FHA. You go to
you know what's funny is, I'm sure Nigerians are listening and saying, do you want to be applauded for doing that? That's not a big deal,
don't
is
applaud
it?
Us, just wait. But they know, Nigerians know me. They know me. That's why I can come here and say, there are certain things I've said here that can make sure that I don't go to work on Monday. Do you understand me? But I don't care. I want to be able to be professional and say things and be believed. Because there's life after FHA.
Okay, would like to say a very big thank you to you.